It's Tuesday, September 15th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight on Tuesday the 15th, we are talking about Rocket League, the hottest new esport.
Let's do this.
Recorded in advance because I'm still in like Australia or Singapore or whatever for a while.
Yep, which means I'm chilling out playing Rocket League.
Yeah. I'm gonna play. Rocket League runs just fine on my laptop, so I bought a wired Xbox controller, which I wish I'd done before. So I'm bringing that on the planes, and
solo.
I'm gonna practice like aerials and stuff solo on Rocket League.
Why don't you play in the AU region when you get over there?
Yeah, when I get over there, but I'm talking about on the flight.
See if they have different style.
And also,
not that you would know.
Everything's backwards. They fly upside down.
No.
Oh, the joke that's in every Tumblr.
So does everyone. Everyone flies upside down. It's Rocket League.
If I fly upside down and I do something cool, that is literally 100% of the time not on purpose. So, we're back from PAX. We played a bunch of games, and we're going to talk about those in the next Tuesday show. But something real big happened.
The biggest. Well, not the biggest. The biggest would be the thing we've always asked for.
The actual MMO.
The Pokemon MMO. But that is not happening. What instead is happening is...
the Pokemon Candy Box.
Yes. The Ingress company, Niantic.
Which is now separate from Google due to all that stuff we talked about on a Monday.
Separate from Google, but apparently still very successful because Ingress was a successful game. But they have teamed with the Nintendo to make Pokemon Go, which is the Pokemon Ingress. You can now, once this game comes out early next year, safely delete all your other candy boxes, your adventure capitalists, and all that. Delete all that garbage.
Never open your 3DS Street Pass again.
3DS Street Pass in the trash. Delete all the garbage games you've got and play this one garbage game above all others.
To rule them all and in the darkness bind them.
Right, all the time you spend playing garbage games, play this one instead. It will rule all. I guess you're going to have to buy this weird Bluetooth thing that looks like a Pokeball. Okay, fine, I'll buy it.
That's already bought. That's pre-ordered the day I can pre-order it.
All right, we got that. We good. The end.
It's interesting, though. One, a clever person could have seen this coming because there were little, you could see business relationships and different people.
Yeah,
but
they did a Pokemon Google Maps thing on some day last year.
Yeah, like just
or
one
this
day.
year. I forget when it was.
It was about a year ago-ish. I just remember it was warm out, and it was at least a year ago because I remember I was walking to get lunch with someone for work, like a business thing. And I zoom in on an area of Google Maps and I see a Pokemon on my Google Maps. And I'm like, what? The fuck? And I clicked on it and it said caught and it turned into a Pokeball. And I was like, and I started scrolling around, and I saw another Pokemon, downtown. And, yeah.
And he went downtown.
Yep. But then nothing came of it, and it eventually disappeared. But obviously, that was probably
a temporary promotion, but also clearly a test to see if there would be, as a precursor to Pokemon Go, right?
It's also kind of smart that if Pokemon is literally the perfect storm of a franchise to do any of this AR stuff with.
Pokemon is the franchise that can do anything.
Anything. First-person shooter. We had that. It was called Pokemon Snap.
You can make Pokemon Rocket League. Pikachu driving a car. Vroom.
But, so, with Ingress, if you're going to make an AR game, though, like that, what better way to prototype it than to make a game that has basically no skin or a completely flimsy skin, like, say, Ingress, to figure out
it has a skin, green and blue.
Yeah.
Go green.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's going to be Go Dragonite.
Dragonite, Spiritomb.
Man, where am I going to find a fucking Spiritomb? Am I going to have to go to, some cavern somewhere to get a Spiritomb?
I better stay at the company
Or am I
going
to have to fly to Japan and find some ancient, spirit stone to get a Spiritomb?
I got to stay where I'm working just long enough because I travel the world a lot. And let me tell you, if going to physical places matters, I'm going to be the fucking Pokemon master.
Will you? You don't think there's anyone else who travels who gets Pokemon?
I'll travel more. I'm in Australia? Well, day trip to pick up that Pokemon in Tasmania.
Well, in the preview video, they show, a big capturing event in Times Square. Oh, who happens to work, right fucking there?
Oh.
I guess I'm catching that Mewtwo. Good luck, everyone who doesn't live here.
So, But yeah, with AR, like no one's made good games really. Like Ingress was the best one that was a game that kept going. People have made AR events.
It's still a candy box, but it was team. It is team candy box.
It also had game mechanics, like it had stuff. It was persistent. All the AR things anyone talks about are like I Love Bees. They're events. They start and they end, and they have a lot of mechanical Turks making them happen. Ingress actually kind of just worked, which was a big deal, but obviously, they probably learned a lot from Ingress, and they probably...
Yeah. You can think of this like not just as Pokemon, but also as Ingress 2.0.
Yeah.
Right? There's no reason to play Ingress when Pokemon Go comes around.
Because, I mean, we saw people at expo halls who tried to make games like Ingress, and they obviously all looked stupid or bad. Ingress is actually the first long-standing AR game, augmented reality for those of you who aren't paying attention, that actually succeeded to some degree, and no one else has made one. So Niantic is the only company in the world that has actual data on how well AR games work.
I'm waiting for some
technology.
real game company to buy Niantic, right? With Nintendo could buy them. You know?
Well, they're owned by Alphabet, Google's parent
I thought
company.
that they weren't part of Alphabet at all anymore.
I'm not 100% sure.
I thought that they were completely separate.
Well, I'm not sure what is being split off completely independent and what is just
Or maybe
its own
maybe they
company.
are still the Alphabet.
Yeah, that's technically owned by Alphabet. I'm actually not clear on all that yet.
Alphabet's Google, by the way.
Yeah. Listen to Monday Geek Nights.
Sure.
But it's kind of interesting, too, that way back, it's one of our lost panels. We did this panel. We called it Egregiously Unrealized Potential at a PAX in like 2010, 2009, like long goddamn time ago.
And many of the things we asked for happened.
Yeah, I mean, this panel was so old that we had 5 or 6 slides dedicated to, guys, there's this game called XCOM that none of you have played.
Well,
oh my
now-
God, reboot it.
Well, you can play XCOM pretty easily right now.
Yep. And the culmination. Oh, yeah, we talked about bringing Star Wars and free-face shooters back, and now we got Elite Dangerous, and there's probably going to be a bunch of Star Wars games because
Well,
TIE
that's 'cause
Fighter.
Star Wars is back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but TIE Fighter came back on GOG. That's often a
Yeah,
precursor.
but they're only going to make Rogue Squadrons. They're not going to make more new TIE Fighters.
You never know. I hold out hope.
But
Hold out
other
hope.
people have been making free space shooters, though.
True. But the entire panel culminated in the end. Our only actual point was the Pokemon MMO would literally change and possibly destroy the world.
Maybe this will half destroy the world.
This is phase 1.
It's a sign of the end. It's not the end times. It's not the final battle of Tarman Gaidon.
I was
but
about to
it
say
is-
we found the Horn of Valar, but no one
Isn't
blew it
Valyr?
yet.
Yeah, it's a sign of the end times.
This isn't the One Ring.
It's
but
like you got the prophecies, and suddenly some things in the prophecy start happening, but
Yep.
it's not everything yet. That's what this is.
There's like 3 goddamn false dragons. All the babies on Earth were stillborn suddenly for some reason.
Exactly. The room of Galf is empty, but we're still here.
No more crickets or cicadas.
Cicadas.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of an aside of the book club, but someone tweeted at me. They said something very profound. The Prince of Nothing is better, but I feel better after reading The Wheel of Time.
Sure.
So yeah,
Of course.
this game is not going to be the Pokemon MMO, but it is going to be, I think, the best augmented reality game to have ever been released in the world to date.
Yeah.
That's my guess. And
I bet money's on that. If I could invest in Niantic, I would.
I mean, part of the reason I played Ingress was because it was the first one.
Maybe they're hiring. Are they in New York?
I don't know where they're based.
I could work
Actually,
for them.
yeah, are they hiring? Because that's actually
I could-
an area of games that I have a lot of domain knowledge and expertise.
I have a feeling that they're in the other side of the country.
Yeah, it's hard to say though because Google does have some offices.
I
out
have a
here.
feeling they're in the other side of the country.
I will look that up.
A
I'm
strong
curious.
feeling.
I will find out while we're doing the show.
Sure. Also, I have a feeling that you don't work very few hours there.
Yeah, but you know what? I'd be willing to work a lot more hours if I was making like big tier for real game stuff.
I wouldn't, even though there would be one huge benefit of working there, which is play Pokemon Go fucking today.
Yep. There's another benefit too.
Just give myself all the
I was about to
Pokemon.
say, right click, Afresh, add Pokemon, Spiritomb,
level 1000 max stats.
Eevee's maxed,
6 Spiritombs,
Ivy's
can't
maxed
lose.
or whatever.
We give and then Rim, he levels himself up, but then I go to his account, all Geodudes.
My only question now.
Rim like captures a whole bunch of Pokemon. Next day he wakes up, he looks, he's got 5 Geodudes.
5G can't lose.
He doesn't have the 6th Geodude. I killed it.
My only question now is will Dorkly / College Humor continue Pokemon Rusty now?
Why wouldn't they?
Because they haven't in a while.
No, they haven't. Oh well.
But things of the day. So Gomergate is stupid, just in case, because apparently people who are fans of us didn't realize that that's the truth and were mad a while ago and it was funny. But Jimmy Kimmel is like the second most mainstream Gennaro type of generic mainstream boring humor in the world.
Yes.
The only talk show type entertainer person who is more mainstream is a guy that neither one of us can remember his name.
So mainstream. The other Late Show guy.
Yeah, but
That's not Colbert, the third one.
yeah, well, Colbert is special. Anyway, so apparently he made fun of Gomergate because they're morons, which already says one thing.
I thought he was making fun of... I don't think this had anything to do with Gomergate. I thought it was that he was making fun of people watching other people play video games.
Well, I think he also kind of made fun of gamer culture, which that's a mortal sin among the Gomergates.
It's like, yeah, he just doesn't understand why watching video games is interesting because he clearly doesn't play or understand video games, but yet he doesn't, watching sports is okay. We watch other people play football.
Yeah.
The end. That's the end of the argument. Done.
But irrespective of what, how, why, Gomergate got mad and started sending him death threats and shit. And he responded by reading all their death threats on the air.
Of course, that's what you do. That's what I would do.
Which infuriated them
Send me
further.
death threats to read on this podcast, please.
And the feedback loop is continuing to go, which says one thing. Gomergate, you finally made it. You're so mainstream that lame late-night talk show people know what you are.
And are milking you for bits.
Yep. That is the only thing that could make you more pathetic would be if grandma knows what you are.
I mean, it's sort of done at this point. If you look, a lot of people run the numbers on it. And there's basically the number of people who are Gomergate is so few people.
I saw a great analysis of the accounts that tweeted about it, that all, that you could kind of pick the accounts from the kinds of things they tweeted that were all new, eggs and whatever with anime avatars. They print 90% of them have not tweeted in months.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much dead. So this is Stimpy rubbing his butt on the grave.
Anyway, so... there's this guy, his YouTube account is called iBook Guy. I don't know why it's called iBook Guy, but anyway, he is a pretty smart dude and makes good YouTube videos, and he's got a series of YouTube videos that has 2 parts so far, and he's making more parts. And in these videos, he explains to you in great detail how old busted computers, or old non-busted computers, depending on your point of view, from 70s, 80s level, Apple IIs, Ataris, Nintendos,
Commodores, even the NES.
Right. How those computers, with their limited capacity to process things, were able to display fancy graphics on the screen.
These videos are amazing because
for people who didn't already know how these computers worked, right? This will make you perhaps appreciate old computers and maybe want to learn to program them because you might think, well, what's the point of learning to program some old computer? Well, first of all, it's really much easier to understand. And once you learn that, you'll realize, oh, a new computer really isn't that much different. It's just got more bits available.
Yep. And like old computers, you had so few colors. Count the number of pixels on the screen, which was a small enough number back then that you could count them by hand if you wanted to.
I mean, while I technically learned to program on an Apple II with Turtle Graphics logo, whatever, I really programmed, I guess, Mac L2Cs with Pascal and
the programming I learned,
and then I even more really programmed on a TI-86, and a TI-86 is pretty much really similar to any of these things.
I learned all my actual
it's got
programming.
A Z80 chip, right?
I did QBasic, but it wasn't real. When I had to make shit work on my TI-85, which was faster, the memory was faster, but it had less of that slow memory. I preferred the TI-85 in a lot of ways, but that was when I actually learned how to program.
Yes, I preferred my fixie to that geared bicycle.
I wonder if anyone in my old neighborhoods, because I wrote a pretty popular physics thing for high school physics classes, but it had my name all over it. And if you fucked with it at all, I had a lot of really obfuscated bullshit hidden around in there. If you fucked with it, all it did was make half the equations subtly wrong.
Anyway,
these videos are great though because I learned a lot from them, actually.
I didn't know how all these computers worked.
Yeah.
I knew some of the things he was talking about, but not all of them.
But it's explained
Like,
at
when
a
have
level...
I ever done graphics programming on a Commodore? My cousins had Commodores. I didn't have one.
But think about that. Scott and I both learned stuff, and yet it's explained at a level that you will understand this if you have almost no knowledge of computers.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff where you'll realize, like, if you're not sure if you like programming, if these videos interest you, then you probably will.
You're going to love the shit out of programming if these are interesting to you.
Right.
Also, a sprite on an NES is actually a bunch of sprites.
And even if you just care about games only, you'll really appreciate what it took to program those old games.
Yeah, but like think of this, count the number of pixels on the screen, multiply that by the number of bits you need to determine,
And
one
then go
color
look.
versus
Then
the
go
other.
look at a game like Kirby's Adventure or Mario 3 and realize what they had to do to make that game happen. And look how perfect the game is.
Yeah. In the meta moment, I gotta pick a new book club book. We just did the book. Well, we're doing the book club episode on Thursday this week.
Aren't we uploading that tonight? The record, which is
Why? Because it was a Monday Wednesday week.
oh, it was okay.
We're
then.
recording a lot of episodes way in advance because
Yeah.
I'm in Singapore or Sydney.
We are recording this on Thursday, September 10th. We're probably uploading it on Thursday, September 11, 12, 13, 15?
Yep, 15.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is Dateline, of course.
All right.
But so I haven't picked a new book club book, but we did already. The episode on the Wheel of Time, the current book club, is done and will be up on Thursday this week. And I have not picked a new book yet because I'm going to keep reading the Wheel of Time for a while. So
Wheel of Time goes round and round.
Yep, moderate hiatus there. We're back from PAX, obviously. Hopefully, before I leave for Asia Pacific, I'll have at least one of the things we did at PAX, probably our lectures, sports, or games, on YouTube. Maybe it'll be done by the time this episode airs, and then I'll link to it. And if it isn't linked to, it means I didn't finish it by then.
Oops.
And otherwise, pretty much in October, Geeknights will resume like normal. And once the weather gets too shitty to bike, videos are going to start coming out again.
Maybe.
They better. We got to make videos. People are really gunning for more Utena.
All right. Well, they can watch Utena.
Yeah. So I was going to get into Rocket League, and Scott kept saying he refused to pay that much money for a game that might be a flash in the pan.
Yeah, kept saying. I said it one time.
You said it several times.
I said, this game's $20. I don't know.
And I would say it's worth it, and you'd say, no, I'm
you
not
said
paying.
it's worth it knowing nothing about the game whatsoever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was right.
Okay, so, of course, the game continued for like another couple weeks, and I said, and Video Ball did not appear, and I watched some videos of Rocket League, and I said, this is basically 3D Video Ball.
Yep. Or one could say Video Ball is a 2D Rocket League.
I'm like...
Except Video Ball is shooting.
Sure. But it's like, all right, well, this seems to be a thing. It's my duty to see this thing. And then, yeah, it's a real deal thing. Get in on it now. It's still the early times yet.
Yeah, if you join a matchmaking game, rando, right now, actually, there are enough people who suck at this game to where you can play and have fun and learn to get better. It's not like MOBAs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like imagine if you started playing MOBAs when Dota was just a Warcraft 3 mod. That would be the same thing as if you started playing this now. I mean, yes, this has been around for a while. There was a predecessor game made by the same company that was like something Battle Cars, and then Rocket League's been around for.
Well, it's Psyonix,
right? So Rocket League's been around for a little while yet, but even so, this game is still young. But it's like the fuse has been ignited, and it's getting very close to the dynamite. But it hasn't quite touched the dynamite. It's like it's getting real close to the dynamite, so you can get in and be a part of the explosion if you start playing now.
And actually, the game is, because it's a dexterity, physical, sport kind of game, as opposed to a MOBA, which is a lot more about knowledge, you can actually just get better at it by practicing without anyone telling you what to do.
Right. So,
and the game has good tutorials, so you can actually just play
tutorials
it.
are good at what they do teach you, but they leave a lot of stuff out. But anyway, so to tell you, if you don't know what Rocket League is.
Which, scarily, a lot of our listeners didn't, I streamed it, and half the people were like, whoa, what's this game?
Right.
So, guys, come on.
Rocket League is the hot new game. The way the game works is pretty simple. There is soccer, a ball, and nets, right? But the nets are at the edge of the field, just like soccer.
Yeah.
However, there's no out of bounds because the entire field is encased with walls, even a ceiling. So you can't leave the field. So you don't have to worry about out of bounds. So the game doesn't stop playing.
And you play 3-on-3. There are other options.
It's 3-on-3 soccer because the field is so big. And, if you have a full set of soccer players, like winning 11, it's like you watch a soccer match. Most of the soccer players are just standing like at midfield while the ball is like near the net. It's like they don't have anything to do with the play over there. They're in their position. But it's 3-on-3. Everyone's got, a relative amount of action all the time. You can still like pass, center it to your teammate in the middle and go for the goal and whatnot. But it's not so many players on the field that it's too crazy, but there's not enough players that it's like you're just two people. You can play 1-on-1, but it sucks.
Yep, 2-on-2 is pretty fun.
2-on-2 is okay. I like 3-on-3, the real mode.
1-on-1 though,
mode.
I'd like to see two pros play 1-on-1 just to see if there's anything, because other than just get past the guy, like I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
it could be real like clever duel of wits.
It definitely could be, but so the catch in Rocket League is, of course, the rocket aspect. You are not a person playing soccer. You're a car playing soccer.
Like an RC car is what it feels like.
There are arguments as to question whether are they full-size cars with a giant ball or are they tiny cars like RC cars with a normal-size ball.
And the game gives you no context to figure that out.
Well, you can see like the stands, right?
Yeah.
Are like the only real-world size reference are like the audience, the crowds, but they're so far away from the stadium, you can't tell if they're like...
You know what? They're not far away. You're just tiny.
Is it a tiny car?
It's hard to say.
Or is it a full-size car?
It'll be interesting when the world gets to the point to where Rocket League exists
also think about the rules
as a physical game.
Well, think about the rules of physics. If you had a rocket on a tiny car, you would just go so far, so fast, you would just like explode immediately. The car has to have some amount of...
No, it doesn't. I did model rocketry. You can put rockets on little things like that just fine.
I don't know.
That could be easier. Bigger rockets can't accelerate quickly. If you have a big-ass rocket, it can't go from nothing to into the air. It'll sit there for a long time. So
anyway,
these things have to be tiny.
So you're in a car. So you're like, well, how do you play soccer in a car? Well,
fucking crash into that ball.
You just crash into the ball to punch it, basically. You can sort of dribble it, right? If you drive into it slowly, it'll go bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
You can smash it against the wall. You can also, there's a jump button, so you can jump. And then once you've jumped, you have 3 seconds if you're still in the air to jump again. And if you jump again, you could just do a double jump, but you can also point in a direction for your second
forward,
jump.
back, to the side.
You can forward, back, side, diagonal, and that second jump has some oomph to it. So it's called a dodge. So you can get some oomph on the ball. And you can also use this to like lunge down the field very quickly. To go backwards while still facing forwards. Like if you need to get back in your net to defend, you could just do a backwards dodge. Get right back in your net, but you're still facing forward.
Or half the time because you're panicking, jump in the wrong direction. And then...
Of course. The game is very, precise with the controls on the gamepad. So
it gives you it's a lot of physics play. Like in addition
a lot
to
of analog control of the throttle, forward and reverse, and your angles and everything. So
you can rotate in full 6 degrees of freedom at any point. And you also have a rocket boost that you can activate.
Well, that's why it's Rocket League, right? So you have this rocket. So the thing with the rocket is that you could just press the rocket button to go fast, but just doing that isn't really always the greatest idea because you can just use the dodge to go basically just as fast if you're just trying to get down the field or whatever. So it only has limited use on the ground. What you really use it for is you jump, and then you use the analog stick to aim your car up, and then you press rocket, and now you're a rocket. It's not flying like a plane, or like a helicopter or anything like that. It's like flying a rocket, like an Apollo 5 rocket. If you spiral out of control, you look like a rocket that spirals out of control is going to land in the ocean and explode.
Now, this is what pushes the game into an upper tier that makes it really viable as a sport, that if you play without the boost, but then the boost isn't there, the game is already a really good, really fun, really skill-based game.
And when you play with people who are of a low skill level, when you're first starting out, people aren't using the rocket to go in the air very much because as difficult as the game is on the ground, going into the air and being able to hit the ball while it's in the air, moving precisely, you're just going to miss the ball 99.9% of the time. And even if you hit it, it's going to go not where you want it to go 100% of the time.
100% of the time, it's going to go where you don't want it to go.
So going up into the air and in the game and being effective at doing so is such a even the most basic thing of get in the air, hit the ball that's in the air towards just in the direction of the other enemy's goal. Not even a shot on the goal, but just towards their end of the field is so difficult that in low-level play, people don't even attempt that most basic aerial maneuver very often. So that non-rocket fun game is the game you're going to play when you're first starting out because no one's going up in the air.
So the sum of all this is that the game is actually just really stupid fun. And what I found once I went through the tutorials and got reasonably confident, Scott's about 10 times better than me right now.
And I'm still garbage.
Scott's plays about 10 times more than me.
I'm 10 times better than Rim, and I am garbage, which means Rim is poop.
I streamed.
And when we both started, we were both worse than poop.
The streaming I did was literally the third time I'd ever played the game, and it shows. But
go watch some pros play, and it's like it looks like a completely different game because they're so good. They can just go up in the air whenever they want, hit the ball exactly where they want, when they want, all the time. It's ridiculous.
The game is perfectly fair. It has a bunch of DLC and stuff, but none of it affects gameplay in any way.
Yeah, everything that, this DLC is purely cosmetic. There is no gameplay affecting anything. Everyone's on a perfectly even playing field. No matter what your car looks like, as far as I can tell, the hitbox is the same, the speed is the same, the jump is the same, everything's the same. So it doesn't matter.
Yep. And I just, it's really quick. You start playing, and you just join a match, immediately play. It's really easy to, form
a match
team.
lasts 5 minutes. You can forfeit if you're losing, no problem.
Yep. Overtime is just golden goal.
Yep. It's real simple. It's crazy fun. You get crazy excitement. Everything that's exciting about sports. Replays that look astonishing because some guy did some amazing save or an amazing shot. The excitement of just playing any kind of game where you put a ball in a net, but it's fast-paced, unlike soccer, so it's not boring ever.
And unlike MOBAs,
there's no penalties or play stoppages because you can't commit a penalty because it's a video game.
Yep. And unlike
no
a lot of other esports,
pretending to be injured,
like MOBAs are bullshit. The game actually has a pretty good spectation. The spectation was built in.
It's not perfect yet, but they vastly improved it. There was a patch today, right? So you look at every video game ever and go to the subreddit for that video game, and you'll see there's usually common complaints with a game. I mean, this goes back for as long as there have been online forums.
Yep.
Typical complaints about a game, but usually those complaints go unaddressed. Hearthstone does not have extra deck slots. Right?
Or
Counter-Strike still has the AWP.
Well, there's the side thing of sometimes those complaints are stupid, but they get addressed, ruining the game, like Tribes 2.
In this, there were pretty much not very many complaints that people had with Rocket League, and they were all perfectly reasonable, right? People wanted to be able to join a new game immediately after finishing one without having to go exit to the main menu and then join again.
There's always one jackass who doesn't say keep playing, so you gotta sit there and wait.
And things small things of that nature, right? People wanted. And there were some bugs, there's a map where you could get outside the wall. They released a patch today as of this recording, which is September 10th. They addressed every one of these perfectly reasonable issues that people wanted fixed. And they're all fixed now.
They also let me block PS4 people because the game's also on the PlayStation.
Yes, you can play on PlayStation 4 or PC. It's
apparently
$20 on Steam. You can wait for a Steam sale, but why?
Yeah, they are apparently going to release it for OS X and Linux as well via Steam.
Nice.
Yeah.
But here's what I say. Pay $20 for this, and even if it's a Steam sale later, don't regret it, because what you're going to do to make up for that money you spent on Rocket League is not buy Fallout 4 until it comes out with a complete Game of the Year edition. All DLCs, $10 Steam sale. And then that $40 you save, or even more, on Fallout 4 will be the money you spent on Rocket League with money left over.
Because Fallout 4...
And you know what? And your money will go to this, poor Rocket League game company instead of to...
does okay for themselves.
Sure, but not as well as, say, the Fallout guys. But they don't need your money, guys.
Fallout can wait. Rocket League is a multiplayer game.
That's exactly right. That's why you're doing this decision that I just told you to do.
Even if it dies a nidhoggy death, which it won't, I don't think.
I don't think so. I think this is going to always be...
Not always. It'll eventually get unsealed.
Sure, I don't think that this is guaranteed to be a huge mega game, but it's going to be a big, important type esport, right?
It'll have a long run.
Yes, it'll have a much longer run than, say, Natural Selection 2 did, right? Or anything like that. And that's still alive.
Yeah, barely, but it's on life support. It's hanging in.
It's there. And this has... thousands of players at all times, whereas NS2 did not.
Rocket League is the cool kid who just came to town and is actually really cool.
Yes.
You're actually getting along with him, you're hanging out.
And you build your skills over time, but it's weird in that it's a ridiculously difficult game to, reach the top tiers. The skill cap is so high, but you just keep playing, and even though I'm an old man and can't possibly get to that max skill cap, I keep getting better. every game I play, I jump a little higher and still accurately hit the ball, right? Or, score or contribute more to my team every single game I play. Whereas you play something like Street Fighter and you're going to hit a wall at some point where it's like, oh, I guess I can't execute this combo by pushing these buttons fast enough.
Yep.
But that doesn't happen in Rocket League because you're just, you're driving this little car around. It's natural video game skills.
Well, it has
just
good
building them.
It has good feedback. Like when you mess up, you really you start to understand why. It has a good loop of like learning the rumble and all the side stuff and the ball cam. The fact that you can switch between looking straight ahead and a camera that floats a little back from your car and always points at the ball no matter where it is.
Well, the original game that is based off the Battle Cars thing had so many modes, and like while they developed that, along the way they developed like the Rocket League sort of mode, and then they realized like this is the fun part here. This is way fun. And they just took that out and made it its own thing, and they worked on less stuff and polished it more, which is why Rocket League, it's like, you're like, I'm paying all that $20 just for this one like mode of another game, and it's like, yes, but this mode has been polished so shinily, right, that it's so perfected. It's not some janky thing, right, like it was originally. This is like the real deal.
Scott and I are going to play it enough. We just need a third person for our team, and we're going to play competitively.
Yeah, we don't have to win to play competitively.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't win that often in Netrunner, but I play that competitively.
I want to be, if I can be in the top third someday, I'd be happy with that. I mean,
we're still in the bronze ranks.
Yeah,
the silver and gold ranks.
We got to get our way up, but I'm going to try to be competent at this game.
If I can get into the silver ranks, I would be satisfied and be like, I am good enough at the Rocket League. If I got to the gold ranks, I'd be like, well, I guess I kept playing Rocket League way too much.
And I will commit to, if you guys get into this game too, form teams and we'll play with you. And I'd even be more than happy to set up a ladder or something in the Geeknights forums.
Yeah, I mean, there are, even, for big games, like the Dotas and whatever of the world. Yeah, there's the real championships that you can't possibly hope to compete in because it's not your job. But there are other tournaments all over the place. Like there's the recreational for Dota that I know, like, I think it's like a game journalist tournament. Like they're good, but they're not, anywhere near professional good. But there are tournaments out there for people of lower skill levels that we can join with our team or set up or whatever. And I would be happy to get involved. Then I would have a video game and I'd have a tabletop game for competitive play, and I'd be set.
Yep, because Video Ball hasn't come out yet.
Right, I have my Rocket League and my video games for when I'm home and nothing to do, and then I'd have my Netrunners for when I'm out and about and there's someone to play Netrunner with. It's
been a long time since I sat down to play a game and just didn't notice how long I'd been playing it. That's what I can say about Rocket League.
Because you just keep joining another one, and now you can play even faster because you don't have to exit to the main menu.
Yeah, I'm really feeling this game. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with this game. It reminded me what it feels like to play that kind of mastery action game.
Yeah, it's like I could have just gone back to Counter-Strike and it would have been just
Which
fine.
I was doing until Rocket League.
But I'm getting better at Rocket League. At Counter-Strike, I think I'm as good as I'm going to get, which is not good enough.
You were never that good. I mean, I'm not good at Counter-Strike, but I'm easily like 10. I'm more better than you at Counter-Strike than you were better than me at Rocket League.
I don't know. I haven't played Counter-Strike in so long.
That's your problem. You don't even know like the corners or anything in new Counter-Strike.
No.
You don't know the maps.
Maybe if I go back and play 1.6 or 1.0, the Counter-Strike when I was good.
Yeah, no, the only people who still play 1.6 are all invincible Neos.
Oh, well, that sucks. Or cheaters.
And no one plays Source because Source was the worst Counter-Strike.
Mm.
So yeah, like play Rocket League. It's legit. And we're going to stream and play a whole bunch of it. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.